before you start it, though. Okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
Hi there, folks. Thanks for joining us on the Mailrite Real Estate Agent Podcast Show. This is episode 49. We're going to continue on the good, the bad, and the ugly of Zillow. And my co-host, Bill Conrad, the wizard, wants also to talk about Facebook. So this is going to be a kind of two-part. First part, Zillow. Second part, Facebook. How does that sound, Bill?
I know I could almost cuss. You see the D word because you sound good, Jonathan. I feel good that over these years, you've taken the left seat, right seat. I'm actually on the other side of the seat here today, folks. Jonathan did the intro. He's controlling the panel, and he is ready to just take off in the podcasting world. And podcasting, yeah, it has a little bit of something to do with real estate, but today we are talking about Zillow and Facebook and what sort of happened the last few weeks. How's that sound, Jonathan?
I think my audience is going to be really interested in your perspective, you and Karen, dealing with Zillow. There's loads of people that talk about the kind of advanced subject, but we're dealing with the ground up here, aren't we, Bill?
Well, yesterday on my smartphone here, I got to see, it automatically comes up on my American Express. I got to see the little Zillow charge of $300 and some odd. That's a pleasant thing to see.
I bet it was.
And we got one lead this week, last night.
Yeah. So what would you say so far about A, the quality, and B, how agents got to handle those Zillow leads? Can you give some insights, Bill?
I think there's a lot to learn with Zillow. Zillow's got a lot of platform, a lot of training, and it's very expensive. I truly believe that you really need to get into the free aspects of Zillow. And I had this instinct early and I screwed up. But really do set it up ahead of time, inside and out. Get your 10 reviews. I think 10 reviews is a good enough place to start because you're going to have to work at reviews. We're going to talk about reviews this week, and we'll talk a little bit about reviews. But I didn't do my homework because we have campaigns going on right now. And part of my business is helping my wife in real estate. The other side is campaigns. And we're working for the United States Senator, Tom Heck, from the great state of Nevada, running for office. So we've been working the backside of some social media, podcasting, some other things. So it's been a crazy busy week. And I didn't get into Zillow. Plus, one thing about our business is if you don't focus in on something or have a team, you get distracted and go different directions. So it's been like one of those weeks.
So let's get back to it, Bill. The leads, first of all, what's been your impression with the lead quality? And secondly, what advice can you give an agent about how they're going to have to handle those leads that come from Zillow?
Well, in 5 months, in 1 month, we've received about 5 leads. And what happens is we have an area code. You have about 15,000 impressions, and they leave a message. It comes up right away. So you get back to them with an email. Most of these have been late at night. So my wife just says, "Hey, thank you for contacting me. What's a good time for us to talk to each other on the phone in the morning, or to call? What's a good time for me to call you in the morning?" And we've done that. And then if it doesn't get back, she'll still call them. Made contact, and she has found a few buyers out of it, which I think you can convert, but working with buyers is very difficult. I'm not sure how to take the Zillow swing and hook it into generating listings yet, other than what we've known from the free side of Zillow, which is to get a short video clip up and, get your listing ranking high in Zillow. Zillow's powerful. There's no doubt it's powerful, but it's just how do you use that darn tool?
Yeah, so to recap, I think what you're saying is the actual quality hasn't been terrible, but it's been buyer orientated. Secondly, that you really got to contact these people ASP as soon as you get contacted. And they seem to do a lot of Zillow late at night. Would that be a fair surmisation of some of the points you made, Bill? Well,
1 month, it's been all after hours. People get home after work, and it's been late at night. Now the question is, talk to my wife, is if you get a email at 11 o'clock at night, should you call back?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Some agents would just call back, wouldn't they?
I don't know. I'm different than my wife. I'd probably just call them back, say, "Hey, how's it going?" Because I think the quicker you call them back, even at 11 o'clock at night, and she had time to be quiet. I mean, it's disruptive to your time if you're reading or whatever you might be doing, but that's your business you're in.
I would agree with you, actually. I think just giving a quick call and saying, "What's a good time tomorrow?" to have a more extensive chat. But I think having a quick 1 to 2 minute chat is probably a good idea.
Yeah, and then just listen. And yeah, and maybe you want to ask I don't know. She's actually pretty good. She knows the questions to ask. She found out the gentleman who we got last night, had a house in escrow, but one thing she found that she didn't like was, well, she asked, well, how about your agents? Well, he showed me some houses, but I really wasn't happy. And if they're doing that, that means they're shopping agents. So you want to get them in the office. It's conversion. Now, I have actually, in my day, I've actually taken people that have had agents and actually shown them houses and written contracts. I've only done it a few times because I'm not really a buyer's agent, but I've converted them over to writing a contract because the agent wasn't around. It was a long weekend each time this happened, like a 4th of July weekend.
Yeah, sure. And folks, we had a pre-show chat, and Bill was putting up his general worries about dealing with buyers. And my stance is, by listening to other top performing agents, is how they deal with this issue. If they haven't got a junior or a referral junior agent, is how they deal with this, is that they will help buyers, but they've got to be pre-qualified. If they're not pre-qualified, they won't deal with them. So what's your position on this, Bill?
Well, I've seen some modifications because you want to develop a relationship, know, like, and trust. So sometimes people will meet with somebody once, go show them a couple houses, and then try to get them qualified. It's actually best, of course, to get them qualified ahead of time. But if you meet with somebody face to face, you have a relationship and they have the ability to be qualified, or maybe they're already qualified. It's a process. I think it's good to meet with somebody either in the office or over coffee to talk about their real estate needs, to really find out the type of house they want. Now, with this, here's something that's changing in the business over the 25 years we've been in it. With Zillow and all these fun things, they see these houses and they want to see them.
Yeah.
They used to not be able to see the houses. I mean, it was difficult to see the inventory. You can see it all now.
Yeah, they're seeing the candy and they want a bite of it, don't they? They want a live bite of it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one of the, maybe you got a little, I do agree with you, actually. I think let's go for the middle ground, folks. Let's say I agree with Bill. You need to build some relationship, show them a couple of houses, have a chat with them after, be at your best, your most charming, and then say, for us to really progress, you're going to have to get pre-qualified. I've got a fantastic broker here that I work with. I highly recommend he or she go off, get pre-qualified, and then we can really rock and roll. And by doing that, you're not burning any bridges, but you're being fair to yourself. Because I think if you don't do that, folks, you're just going to get burnt out. What do you say?
I just thought about this. A couple of things. First of all, let's say you're meeting a McDonald's, a Starbucks, or your office. You might want to do is say, hey, let's meet down. Let's go meet at McDonald's, Starbucks, or whatever. And always, by the way, always call them a half hour ahead of time to confirm, hey, I'm on my way, or you're there. Just call them and say, hey, I'm there. Just double checking we're on today, because you will get stood up. So if you call them, you're not going to get stood up. You'll at least to save your time there. But what you might want to do is bring your, say, hey, let's all meet together. I want to introduce you to the broker I work with. No obligation to use them, but we want to make it really strong. So when you do make an offer, we really have some power. They can give you a quick pre-qual and get you a letter right now, so you're not wasting any time. And you don't have to use them, but at least we got this power of the letter to make you have a better buy.
I think that's a great idea, and actually increases your profession, the way you come across as a top agent, a professional agent, somebody who's a rainmaker, problem solver, doesn't it, Bill?
Right, Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan, guess what? I just realized something. You froze the mail right. It's all your picture. It's not going back and forth.
It is on my side, Bill.
It is? Okay. And now is it going back and forth? Yeah. We're on break, by the way. Wait a second. Hey, with that, let's go to a break. I meant to say that. Let's go to a break first. Talk 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
That is weird. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. It's working perfectly on my side.
Is it going back and forth on your side? Interesting. It's not going back and forth on my side.
Yeah, it's working perfectly on my side.
I'm not used to being on this side. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it must be a bit odd, mustn't it?
1, 2, 3. Wonder why it doesn't go back and forth. See, now if I hit me, now it's going back and forth. Is it still going back and forth for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, this is the in the middle of the show. For those watching on YouTube, you get to see what we go through in the process of building it. I had a politician we did a timeline for, and I always tell them we don't really edit the YouTube like this. And I have to edit YouTube. No, we don't edit. I'll cut the front and the back off. But we don't do much editing. We just throw it up to show people how we make it and talk.
Shall we go for another silent break before we go back in? Because
we have to do that. So I'll bring it back off the break, okay? Just for fun, old style. Or do you want to bring it off the break?
totally up. You do it. I did
Okay.
the introduction.
Okay, we're coming back off the break, and we're going to go for about another 7 or 8 minutes, make this 15-minute show. But what we want to do is I want to transition. We're going to talk more about Zillow as I go through the Zillow pain. There's a lot to Zillow. I mean, it's a full-time job. Real estate's a lot of work, and I'm a big believer in the team concept, that you need teams. Well, that's another thing in Zillow. If you look at Karen Conrad in Reno and find her Zillow site, you'll see me as a team member underneath. The reviews from me feed to her, so it looks like 4, which is really nice. So I can really see how Zillow said, man, the team is the future. And I do believe that, because then you spend the big bucks at the top, like the broker, the little sub broker or team leader, and then he delegates out these buyers to his buyer's agents.
Yeah.
I think, and we've talked to a couple of people who we've interviewed on the show, big brokers, who actually have moved from city to city, buying up a lot of Zillow leads and then giving them out to their quote unquote team, their brokers, small brokers, at 50% commission.
Sounds good to me. So are we going to delve into Facebook now, Bill?
Yeah, why don't we tell them what we're doing on Facebook? Because really, this is something that I've been working, and you're working in a professional element to provide a service about Facebook. So why don't you go in and give out the parameters of what you are doing with Facebook and all the different elements?
Yeah, I will do, Bill. I just want to give some basic facts out to the agents about Facebook, about why I feel it's where the real action is, where it comes to getting really quality leads off the internet. I really truly believe, and everything we've done on MailRight with our standard product builds, helps the agent get into a position where if they choose to use one of our 2 other products, which is around Facebook, Bill, they're going to get some really quality leads. But did you realize, Bill, that the average American spends 40 minutes per day on Facebook? Did you know that, Bill?
I know. I do it late at night. And of course, I have a group of over 600 people in podcasting called the Podcaster's Home.
Yeah.
So I didn't know it's that long. I think it depends on age group and all that.
Well, I don't. But if you're not disciplined about going in, getting out quick, you will end up 30 to 40 minutes on there.
Like last night, I didn't get my beauty sleep.
Yeah, Facebook is the most addicting social media network. 23% of Facebook check their accounts 5 or more times per day, Bill.
Yeah,
they check multiple times. And
I do it once. I do it at night late usually. I'm doing it right now though because we're looking at the real estate.
I know loads of people that are doing that, Bill, checking over 5 times a day. 49% of consumers like a business. They actually rate a business down if they haven't got a Facebook page. But Facebook drives about 25% of all social referral traffic. Referrals, strong referrals, 25% of those referrals are driven by Facebook. So I'm just giving a quick outline to the listeners why they should care about this, Bill, because like I said at the beginning of this section, Bill, I really believe this is where some of the real action is on. And if it's done the right way, you will get some quality referrals. And it's all about price to quality of referral metrics, isn't it, Bill? It's the same with Zillow and a lot of these lead generating portals. It's the cost to the quality. A lot of people say that, they get a lot. And and in a way, what we said at the beginning of the show, Bill, is your experience is that, you do get referrals from Zillow, but a lot of them are buyer orientated, and a lot of them could be sucking up a lot of time. As the volume increases, you could get in a situation where you can get swamped by the quality. With what we're building in MailRight, what we hope to do is a lot of these people already know the agent, and we're trying to get them to refer people by retargeting Facebook advertising. And then on our top product, we're mixing that with specific zip codes where we're not only focused on the people that already know the agent, but we're also trying to generate new interest, and then taking them to a purpose-designed landing page that really converts them into a quality lead.
Jonathan, do you realize that most real estate agents really don't know what you just said?
No, I'm sorry, but I'll try to keep it as non-technical as possible as well, Bill. I did try.
Let me say it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Okay. Facebook does a lot of things. It has the ability to find your friends, the people who are in your community of Reno, who are on your Facebook site. So what it will do, it will put like a little real estate ad off to the right side with you, your name, your picture, whatever that might be. When they click on that, it will lead to your website. So that's the first element. You have the ability. So why would you want to do that? The why. The why is you want to keep your name in front of your friends. That's how I make my living. If I don't make my living, I go work at McDonald's or something. I hopefully wouldn't do that. But that's the first step. So you expand that. You can target into a zip code where people in that zip code see the ad. Let's say that's your farm. So those are the two areas, trying to simplify it. The other thing I want to mention, I just did this just everyone go up on Facebook, and up at the top you have a magnifying glass, and that's a search for those who don't know it. If you type in the word real estate, 2 words, real estate, and just sort of see what pops up and see what's going on. That's some of your homework this week.
Yeah, and the other factor, folks, and thanks for that, Bill, because I did try, folks, to keep it as non-techie, but Bill's totally right. It was still a techie feast, wasn't it, Bill?
So what they're doing is they're clicking on the little picture, little ad on the right, and maybe it's taking them to their website, to a specific page on the website that is getting something that we want them to do. Click on something, listen to something of that nature. And that's what we call a landing page. Most people do not know what landing pages are.
Yeah. The factor you've got to understand, folks, and you already know this, is that, there's probably about 100 of all the people and depending how long you lived in the area, how big a networker you are, you probably, like Bill and Karen in their original town, they literally knew everybody to some extent. But even then, only 150 of those people will really refer somebody. They changes, that 150 changes year by year. But of all those people only 150 will ever refer a quality lead your way. And keeping yourself in front of those people is important, but also attracting new people, isn't it, Bill?
That's a very good point. I don't even think it's that high in referrals. You'll get some, but what you will do, you'll get family referrals. That's the top. That's 90% or 80% of the referral is you sell a house for somebody in the family, and then they refer you within the family. That's typically how it works. And you're right. And there's 150, maybe the very closest person. We used to say have 200 to 300 people in your personal geographical.
Know you, like you. It's the phrase, isn't it? Know you, like you, trust you.
Know, like, and trust. Yeah. No, yeah. And confidence, of course, which is part of that.
But all the people you might, if you've been agent in Reno for 15 years and you go to all the networking and you got your database and everything else, you might know thousands of people, folks, but of those people, only 150 is going to refer. It's been scientifically proven, Bill, that that's the reality. But it's important that you consistently, but not in an abrasive way, keep yourself in front of those referral resources.
Yeah. Hey, we've got about 30 more seconds left in the show. I just want to mention something. There's I can't remember the book. I think called Tribes by Seth Godin. He talks about some of those concepts of how many people really relate to you, especially with the new media and social media.
Thanks for the Bill. It's a great book, isn't it? And he explains some of these concepts really quite well, doesn't it?
Yes, he does. And hey, Jonathan, good job today on the show. Jonathan is taking lead on this. I'll be sticking around real estate quite a bit because that's still one of our main businesses. But it is like crazy out there. The world is changing.
It certainly is, but don't give up, folks. That's what this podcast is about. It's about Bill kind of manages me when I go techie mad with my language, and he brings me back to reality. And we're here to give some clear advice. And obviously a lot of the shows deal with the top performance folks, but and we'll probably have some of those people on occasionally, but we're more about the kind of nitty gritty advice about getting the ball rolling. Would you agree with that, Bill?
I agree. We're looking at the middle producers, how they're struggling and what they're doing to get there, because most people are starting or at the lower levels and they want to get to that middle level, because you can't go to lower to top.
Because most of the and I'm not attacking the other podcasts, Bill, but most of them deal with the top level, don't they? Our focus is in the starter to middle, isn't it, Bill?
We want you to make a good living. We want to make you $80,000 to $150,000 a year. That's our producer. And that's a good living. And I'll tell you, when you make it to 150 and you save your money, you can build up, you can get to 200, 300, but you got to get that first step. You got to get 40, 50, 60, 70, and then to 80 to 90. And you got to balance. You can't just spend it all. And you got to figure out this business, and it's changing. Hey, one thing I want to say, next week, we're going to look at Zillow a little bit more. I'll do more homework. My company works a little bit with real estate, and my wife, of course, the company, the business. But I also work with politicians. We're in the middle of the season right now, like I mentioned earlier. But you mentioned something, and I don't want to go into detail now. We'll talk about it next week, how politics and real estate are similar, and we'll talk about Zillow. How's that?
Sounds great to me, Bill. Thanks for listening, folks. We'll be back next week, me and the Wizard, and we're here to help. Speak to you soon.